Hey guys, this is Trevor Proban. This is Land Investing Dirt Road to Wealth podcast. Today, just want to kind of give you a heads up of what's going on in the marketplace, what's going on with my business, the fund, kind of what's going on all the way across the board. But more importantly, I wanted to talk about something I've seen here recently and acknowledged a couple of times talking to other people about what he's looking for or what people are looking for in their business and the comparison. I don't know how to say it the best way, but like the inability for people to understand that they are being finessed in a way, right? Especially when it comes to all this stuff, right? Like it's a sad fact when it comes to education, understanding what's going on in the game played there, right? Before we dive into that, though, like I was at a mastermind this past weekend in Arizona. Didn't get paid to do it. Something I really enjoyed doing periodically is bringing land to the overall real estate market. Got to speak the very first day for Ryan Zolan's Agent Investors Mastermind. Right. Their whole deal is they are real estate agents. They're also investors. They work with building relationships with brokers and realtors on the wholesale flipping game. It's a high volume game, but the cool thing is just like what we do for most of my deals is we buy them almost all on market. Right. And that's what I did. I paid for his full course last year. I always buy courses at least one a year, right? 5, 10, 15, 20,000 bucks. I always buy a course because one deal pays for all of that. And if I can learn from one slice of information on one particular deal, I'm making money and I will make money forever. Because here's the thing about it, right? I can go bankrupt. I can go bankrupt tomorrow. I can understand that this is going to be, everything goes to hell in a handbasket, yada, yada, yada. I can go bankrupt tomorrow. I can go live in a little trailer house. I can drive an S10 beat to shit pickup, but I have the skill set. I have the skill set to continue to learn and implement this with the tools and relationships that I've built. That is much more important than the amount of dollars that I spend achieving that information. It has jack shit to do with the product. The most valuable real estate in the world is right here in between your ears, right? And I hear people saying, "Oh, well, I would never buy a course. I would never buy a whatever." That's fine. But what you're doing is you're stealing years from other people. You're not stealing. You're buying years of your life from other people. We've had people that I've taught and worked with on master classes and things like this that, or personal coaching and things like this that like, you're like, man, this guy's going to kill it, or this gal's going to kill it. And they don't. It has nothing to do with information. It has the ability to do with what you're learning, right? Which is a little bit off of what I was talking about. But the thing is like when you buy that course and you buy those years of your life back, you get hooked up into that group, team, network, right? Like the whole buying proximity is a real thing. Whether you want to like it or not, like no one gives a shit. Whether you would like to hear it or not, no one cares. If you're not willing to put money into building those relationships, you're not going to be taken seriously. Sorry to piss in your Cheerios. Right? The cool thing is once you're in, you're in. And once you're in, there's a certain level of buy-in that you have to have in any organization ever. Whether that was your football team, your dance team, your job, whatever that is, you got leniency and preference based on the work that you put in to earn those stripes, right? In this game, when it comes to networking and things like this, it's what you're willing to put in is what you're able to get out of. And that means time, that means money, that means expertise. Because here's the cool thing about human beings is if I give you something first, I have, unless you're just a weirdo, I have a burning desire to not only give you back the same amount, but usually a little bit more. Reciprocity. I can't ever say that word. But it's the truth, right? From your kids, maybe not your little kids, but like your spouse, your girlfriend, boyfriend, friends, things like this, right? When you pour into them, they will pour into you. When you pour into them, they will pour into you. And here's the cool thing is the more you understand that the more you pour into other people, the more you receive. I don't know why it works. I don't know how it works, whatever, but it's true. If you're always looking at the negative side, if you're always thinking about what's in it for me, if you're always thinking about, hey, what's the angle that I can have on this? Good luck. It's not going to work. When you have a mindset of scarcity, when things get tough, and I see who you really are, and that's a little bitch, I'll never work with you ever again. Never. And I'll tell everyone around me not to ever work with you. You can tell them the same thing for me. I don't care. But I know what I've done, right? Put in the work. Done the work. Given much more than I've received. And I sleep like a baby every night. And I want you to do that too. Because even though you may not win in the short term, you're going to win in the long term. I have given away so much equity. I have given away so many different things. And you're always going to find that one or two or three or five people that bitch and moan about it. No one sees how much you work. No one sees what you've done, right? Investors, partners, anything else like that. That's fine. Take it, leave it, one way or other. I'm always trying to pour more into who I am and what you're doing, right? And that's where we're going back to this, talking about the relationships that you have, but also understanding that most people don't see the amount of work that it takes and the amount of work that you need to do to hit those goals that you have, especially in business, right? We're going to talk about like the realism that is lacking in this business, right? And that's where you had these folks, right? We're going back to the presentation that we had this weekend. The cool thing with it is most of them were all open and honest with their numbers, right? Just like I was. Presented on the deal that we did close in Gatesville, right? That is Gatesville 156 LLC, if anybody wants to look that up, right? That's the most recent deal that we've done as far as bigger value add. We've also done a ton of, obviously, with the fund. We had multiple closings. Looks like we may have another one coming up, right? We're actually doing the business. However, because of the marketing in this industry, there's a lot of you that are feeling like you're being weighed and measured and you're found lacking, right? I do not want you to feel that way anymore. I do not want you to feel that way because most of the time people are fluffing the hell out of the numbers. Fluffing the hell out of the numbers. We did 27 deals this month. Yeah, you made 14 grand. You got 37 VAs. All right. Everybody wants to talk, oh, my net worth is $12 million. Maybe, if everything goes right. Right? You can't eat equity flakes. You hear all this stuff in this business. You hear about how Jim Bob's using VAs and Sally Mae is doing all this stuff. And now everyone is building subdivisions and selling to D.R. Horton. And now everyone is doing this and that and everything else. And everyone can market, but no one's got any effing money. But no one says that. No one says that interest rates are killing the business, right? Real estate overall, especially raw land. No one is saying anything about that because that doesn't sell a course. That doesn't sell the dream. That doesn't sell their affiliate marketing, right? Oh, subdivides. And I'm, part of it, but like family's been doing it since 91. Some of y'all weren't even born when we started doing that, right? It's nothing new. Owner financing, nothing new. None of this shit is new. It may be new to you, but it's not new. I want you to understand that everything that you see when it comes to this kind of stuff is a little bullshit, right? When they talk about, oh, I did $5 million in sales this month. Based on what? I bought $12 million in properties. I did this many deals. I did 37 deals, right? That's all ego talking. And it's their own insecurities because they're comparing themselves against everybody else too. I know. I'm that guy. Every time I start thinking I'm doing pretty good, I realize that I could definitely do better. And now I'm talking to people that are worth, 100, $200 million. Right? I'm trying to build my own market to be able to offer owner financing for all of our projects, even the good high dollar price properties. Having conversations with people that are light years ahead of most of these people in our industry. Everybody that you are talking to, everyone that you're listening to, everyone that is bragging on social or has this or has that is a little bit full of shit. And the more hair product and the more Instagram stories they have, the more blah, 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 the more bullshit. It's the sad truth, right? Because that's what sells. That's what gets attention. You talk to some of these guys in the house side, right? And they're talking like, oh, well, this did this and this and this, and I got this car and I've got this watch and I've got this whatever. And then you really talk to them And they're like, man, last 6 months have been freaking killing me, right? When you talk to the ones that have these giant coaching programs and they've got 37 Zoom calls a week, they're doing all this other stuff. And then you realize there's a funnel to feed them more deals. So feel better about yourself, right? Every single one of us is going through stuff that no one else knows about. Every single one of us is feeling inadequate throughout the year. And that's just the way entrepreneurship is, right? You are part of the club. Even if this is a side hustle, this is your life and it is your dreams, hopes, desires, fears, insecurities, all of the above. And that's what entrepreneurship is. Luckily, you're not alone, right? Luckily, you're not alone. Had lunch with a dear friend of mine. I used to work with him in surgical sales, my first job. Super good guy. And now he owns his own distributorship for Total Shoulders in Arizona. And we were talking about they had just sold a piece of dirt that they had bought in Flagstaff that they were going to do some things on. Anyway, and he was talking about his wife wanting to use all that money to help pay off their house, which they have a beautiful home. And so he did agree to do that, but he also was like, listen, and Joey, he comes from nothing, right? Like did not have the business side, right? He brought that all on himself, right? He didn't grow up with that, just like most of us didn't. And he was like, cool, we'll pay the house off, but we're going to get a large HELOC ready to do deals whenever they come our way, right? And I was so happy and excited and proud of him because of the way that over the last few years his mindset has changed. We've got another buddy in San Antonio that is building a business, right? That he was not a business guy at all. And here in the last couple of years is doing extremely well, is really pushing. But it was funny because he didn't want to tell me, him and his wife didn't want to tell me what they were doing, a year and a half ago, because they were afraid that if they told somebody, they would tell them that it couldn't be done or wasn't possible. Right? We talk about this all the time, like the entrepreneurial side where, especially as you're getting started, maybe, believe me, if you're listening to me, this is not your first time that you've looked up something to make some side money or to get rich or whatever the hell you want to call it, right? By the time you came to me, you've probably looked at 5, 6, 7, 8, 12 different things to make money. I get it. We've all been there. And so now you have to prove not only to yourself, but you also have to prove to the ones you love and care about that you can do this land thing. And when you get started, just like I've had a podcast on this before, when you get started, right, a forest fire starts as a very small flame. It starts as a very small flame. It starts as a way to a single match, right? And within the first day or so, it can be put out very easily. You can snuff it out with a cup of water. Maybe stamp it a couple times with your foot. Over a couple of days, it can turn into something that can wreck hundreds of thousands, if not millions of acres. So when you're comparing yourself to other people, when you're comparing yourself to the make-believe numbers or the image of what people are doing or how they're doing it, you're setting yourself up for a lot of heartache. And you yourself, much less anyone else, can put your own fire out, your own entrepreneurial dreams, goals things like that, you're the one that can put them out yourself. And that is heartbreaking. And I have been there myself, and I have done it to myself over and over and over again. Right? My hope and dream for you is that you do not do that. My hope and dream for you is that you get that fire going as hot as you possibly can and then move on, right? Like then when the haters or whomever comes across you, you can take it on the chin and move on. Decide who you want to work with long term or not work with long term. That, I think, is the impetus of when you hit that level, when you have that confidence and that wisdom, that's when you can take the bullets and the stray bullets and the arrows in the back, right? Because you've already proven to yourself that you have that skill set. You've already proven to yourself that you're willing to take actions on that skill set. But when you first get going, you got to really, really protect what you're doing. And by part of that, and the biggest part of that, is not allowing your comparison to be a thief of joy and your comparison to stop you from taking those daily actions that you need to take. Okay. Hope everyone has a great day. We've been getting a bunch of rain here in Texas. I'll give you kind of an update on what's going on with us, but we'll talk to you soon. Have a wonderful day.